Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Talk About It. My name is Anbo Wiskus. I'll be your host today, and I am so grateful that you are here and you are joining me. If you are brand new to Talk About It, welcome. It is a post grad center podcast that posts every single Wednesday, and I am so grateful that you are here and you are joining me. Hello, you guys. How are you doing? What is new? What's going on? What's up? You guys, this is my 25th episode. It's so weird to think about that, but I'm so grateful for it. I feel like 25 is such an interesting number because it's kind of like in some ways it's a lot, in some ways it's barely anything, but if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's been 25 weeks that I have had this podcast up and running, and within those 25 weeks so many amazing, wonderful, crazy things have happened, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys for listening either every week, once in a blue moon, or maybe this is your first episode ever. I'm so grateful for anyone who's taken the time to listen, for everything that I've learned along the way, and for all the ways that I am so excited to continue to evolve. I think this is just such an amazing community that we are building here, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you for tuning in and being a part of this journey with me. I really think that this is the beginning, and there's so many exciting things that I can't wait to share with you, even coming in the next week. So be on the lookout for that. But I'm just so grateful for every single one of you for listening and being a part of this crazy wild journey with me. You guys, my brain is having a really hard time with words today. You know those days where like your brain and your mouth, like they just don't connect? I feel like one's moving at a million miles per minute and the other is moving literally at snail speed. I can't figure it out. And not to mention, I'm really on edge today. Like I'm really easily distracted. I feel like I'm losing my train of thought a little bit more than I normally do. This is my third time recording this episode. It's one of those days, okay? It's one of those days. If you bear with me, I promise that we will still have such an amazing episode. And so with all that being said, I just want to dive on in. Okay? I just want to dive on in. Normally I talk for literally like 10 minutes. Okay, I spiel. I do a whole spiel. But today, you guys, I think I need to like hold on to my brain cells as long as I can. And I don't really have that much information for you, new updates. I think the only thing I want you guys to look out for if you want to follow along is November 3rd is a very important date. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Keep a note on it for some very exciting news and upgrades. I feel like I just need to dive on in. Okay, so let's just do it. Let's dive on into this episode. You know the drill. I really hope that this gives my brain cells like a couple extra bursts and maybe multiplies them a little bit. But we're back. My mother went to the store. She got me some Arnie's. I'm so happy because I haven't had an Arnie in a minute and low-key been craving one. I've just been like needing something fresh and new and something that I haven't had in a while, and that is exactly what this is, an Arnie. But if you tuned into last episode, I had mentioned for those who are trying to be engaged and just to see who's engaged, I asked you guys to either comment, message me, or whatever your favorite drink. And I want to imply that into this episode as well. So I'm giving you full ability to just hit pause really quick and either message me, comment, or whatever your favorite drink, whether that is your favorite drink to this day, a favorite drink that you've had before, or maybe something that you're wanting to try that you haven't yet tried. With all that being said, you guys, let's just cheers. Let's cheers to an amazing episode. Hopefully my brain holds on a little bit longer. I think it will. I think we're on a good roll. Third time's the charm, right? So cheers to that. Cheers to you guys. I love you so very much. Thank you for listening. Cheers to you. Accountability has probably been a lesson in my life that is the most prominent and most important to me. I'm only 23, so I know I still have so many more lessons to learn and so many things to apply to my life. But I feel like so far, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to myself, accountability is something that I hold very high and dear to my heart. Because I think that it has truly changed my perspective on how I want to treat other people and how I want to treat myself. There are two ways that I truly feel like accountability really applies. There might be more, but in my personal preference, I feel like it applies two different ways. It's one, the way that you hold yourself accountable to your dreams, your aspirations, and the things that you want for your life. And two, the way that you hold yourself accountable for the ways that you make other people feel, the ways that you speak, the ways that you act, the ways that you are, how it affects and how other people feel based off those actions. You holding yourself accountable to that. For today's episode, I really want to talk about that second position. I really want to talk about how you hold yourself accountable to the ways that you make other people feel. If you want me to do an episode on holding yourself accountable to your dreams, your aspirations, etc., I would love to do an episode on that because that is the prime reason to why I started this podcast. But today, and for my brain, I really want to focus on accountability for the actions and the things and the ways that you make other people feel. I first want to talk a little bit about accountability on itself and what that means to us. I looked up the definition of accountability, and according to Google, it's an obligation to accept responsibility for one's actions, decisions, and commitments. Now, I made my own definition as well, and that is honesty, commitment to respecting yourself and others, and being able to admit when you are not perfect. That's the way that I view accountability. It's very similar to Google's terms, but it has a little bit more examples and like specifications in terms of it. Specifically, the main difference I feel like in mine compared to Google's was that you are not perfect, that you are not meant to be perfect. So I want to talk about 4 things that I've learned when it comes to holding myself accountable. Mainly 3. One's kind of an example that I've really related to in a lot of ways that's a little bit more biblical that I want to talk about later. But I want to talk about 4 things that I've learned when it comes to holding yourself accountable. The first thing that I've learned is that I truly believe that it starts with you. You can't expect other people to care if you won't. If you don't care about their feelings, you can't expect them to care about yours. And that goes both ways. Other people can't expect you to care if they won't care for your feelings. If you are constantly in relationships and friendships where it is one-sided, where one person is caring more, they're holding themselves more accountable than other people, it's a one-sided relationship, which gets very, very exhausting over time. It's really hard to feel important, to feel loved, to feel cherished, to feel cared for in a relationship where you are doing most of the caring and you are not receiving. An equal relationship, an equal friendship needs a two-way street. It needs a two-way street. If there's one person doing majority of the work, doing majority of the love, it's not fair. It's not equal. You can't expect other people to care for your feelings if you won't care for theirs. You have to put yourself and take yourself out of your mind, out of your body, and put yourselves in their shoes sometimes. It has to be equal. If you expect it, then you also need to act on it. If you want to receive it, then you have to give it. And one thing that's really hard to accept about that is some people just won't. Some people won't care for your feelings. Some people won't take accountability for their actions. The only thing that you can control is that it starts with you. You can control how you treat other people. You can control the type of relationships that you feed and the people that you keep close and near and dear to your heart. That's what you can control. It starts with you. It starts what you want to put up with. It starts with how you treat people. It starts with how you expect to receive care and receive love from other people. Because again, you cannot force someone else to hold themselves accountable. The second thing that I've learned is that we need to stop being afraid of holding ourselves accountable, of taking responsibility for our actions. No one else is going to explain why you did something besides you. I am someone who does not like confrontation. I don't like confrontation. I think a lot of people don't. I think when it comes to confronting someone else, a lot of people might be okay with it. But truly, it's always hard to hear if you have done something wrong. It's always hard to be put in your place. Like, no one wants to be told that they've done something that has hurt someone else, that they have done something that is wrong and that isn't right, that they are being put in their place. No one likes to be put in their place. But I think we need to stop being afraid of it, because a lot of the times people wait to take accountability and responsibility for their actions until someone else calls them out on it, until someone tells them that they have to take responsibility. It's less likely for people to reach out to other people to seek reconciliation for things that they've done or the ways that they made people feel just on their own. I think there's a lot of people that do that, but it's less likely, right? I think it's more likely for other people to have to tell someone that they've done something wrong. Because a lot of times when we do things, we don't really think about the impact that it'll make. We just kind of do things to do things. And then when it comes to facing the music, we like to run away from it. We like to hide from it. We like to just forget about it and to just move on from it and to just hope that over time we'll learn, and the next time that a position like that comes up, we'll make a better decision, versus facing the music at your own time, taking accountability and responsibility for your actions on your own, versus waiting until someone, waves their finger at you for doing something you shouldn't have done. We need to stop being afraid of that. We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard to do that regardless of what the result should be. Why are we afraid? I think a big reason to why people are afraid of this is that they're anxious for what is going to happen. One quote that I really like is that faith is even if. Even if that happens, you have faith that it's going to work out. You have faith that things are going to be okay. Because anxiety is the what if, faith is the even if. You have to allow yourself to trust and know that even if something happens, worst case scenario, quote unquote, happens, you are still going to be okay. Because you want to know why you're going to be okay? You are learning and you're becoming a better person. Faith is even if. Don't allow anxiety to keep you in the realm of what if this happens, and allow you to be afraid of taking responsibility. No one else is going to take responsibility for your actions but you, because no one else knows why you did certain things besides you. You need to have respect, you need to have trust in yourself, and you need to have security in yourself and who you are as a person, that no matter what happens outside of certain things, you have faith that even if something happens, you know that by doing certain things, by making certain decisions, and by owning up, you know that that is making you a better person. And you're the only person who can do that. And kind of tying it back to the first one, if you aren't going to do that, you can't expect other people to do that either. It has to be an equal playing field. You have to give in order to receive, which is so hard, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's hard. It's hard to admit when you're wrong. It's hard to face the music. But the sooner that you stop being afraid of it, the sooner that you get excited to become a better person and you stop fearing making mistakes. I think another big thing when it comes to playing into that is holding on to your character. I feel like I am someone who falls into this a lot of times too, but whenever I make a mistake, I'm someone who dwells on it a lot. Like, I still sometimes dwell on the things and the ways that I have allowed my character to be perceived to other people and the ways that I've acted. I mean, we've all done things, we've all acted in ways that we're not proud of, whether it was just immaturely, whether it was out of spite, out of anger, out of jealousy. There's been a lot of ways that I have, acted that I'm not proud of, but I've learned a lot from in terms of going into new situations like that. But I do think that one thing that I am still continuously trying to remind myself and do for myself is hold on to what I know is true about my character. I've been in situations where I've held myself accountable for certain things, whether that is accidentally hurting a friend or saying things and having a friend hear the things that I've said, and I was acting out of spite, out of anger, out of whatever, right? And what's happened is I have not always received forgiveness and understanding from that person. A lot of names have been called, a lot of things have been said that I don't know how that person feels looking back on it, but didn't make me feel good in the moment hearing about my character. But one thing that I've done in the past is I've taken what they've said and I've labeled that. I've allowed that to define me going forward a lot of times. And when it comes to taking accountability, because sometimes I lose sight of the goodness in my heart and the goodness that I have as a person because of the things that other people have said about me or the ways that they've perceived me, right? It's really hard for me to hold on to the goodness of my character and want to be better because I have just dwelled on the bad. I've dwelled on the ways that I haven't implicated or showed God's love and mercy. I haven't always been the most forgiving or the most loving or the most patient. I haven't always been the most kind and the most peaceful person because I can allow my emotions to speak for me, and therefore it's gotten me into some sticky situations. But I think one thing that I've really been trying to do is not allow other people's perceptions of me, especially after taking accountability for my actions, to define me as a person. I know what is true in my heart. I know what God has made of me as a person. I can't let other people, earthly people, define me as who I am. I'm not exactly who I want to be yet, but I know that I am a loving, loyal person, that I care so intensely for the people around me, and that I love so hard and so quick. That I am a passionate person. I am an emotional person. And I think in certain ways that can bite me in the butt, but that can also be my greatest strength. I know that I'm not crazy a lot of the times, that my gut tells me things that are true about what I'm experiencing. And after I get out of a situation, I often look back being like, my gut was right the entire time. We all have people saying X, Y, and Z about us. We always have people saying what they think they know about us and what they think they have the ability to speak on about us. But I think when it comes to holding yourself accountable, what I think about facing the music and facing the truth of a situation is that you need to hold on to who you are as a person, the values that you have in yourself and that you know that are true in yourself, and to not let situations, people define you. Because when you allow it to define you, you put yourself in a cage. You put yourself as a label, and you aren't able to fully flourish in the ways that you could. You aren't taking it and using that as energy and fuel to burn to becoming the better person. You're allowing it to weigh you down and drown you. Because when we take accountability for our actions, we're not the only person in the world who's ever done anything wrong, but at least you're taking a step forward to becoming the better person, to becoming a better person, to possibly having someone forgive you and forgiving yourself. That's the reality of it. You have to know that that means that you care. You care about other people. You care about your heart, finding peace within your heart. That means and speaks more about your character, taking accountability for being wrong than it does avoiding when you've done wrong. And another little sliver is this. It's so hard to be someone who holds himself accountable and never receives people, never experiences accountable people. I've had a lot of people in my life who have sought accountability from me, but who have never been accountable, who never take a look in the mirror and have seen and understood the pain that they've caused me. And that can make me very, very angry. It can make me very, very frustrated. There's a lot of instances in my life where this has happened, and it's really, really hard. But I think that one thing that we can do is pray for them. As hard as that is, we have to pray for them. We have to pray for them. We have to pray, and we have to give them grace, because there have been times in your life where you haven't either. You can't just be accountable to need accountability from someone else. You can't say you're sorry and mend something wishing and expecting someone else to be sorry too. You have to do it because you want to, out of the goodness and out of the peace and out of the grace of your heart. You can't do it just because you want to receive something. You have to allow it to grow your character and become a better person for you. The last thing that I want to bring up kind of is like a fourth thing that I've learned, but I've learned this recently, and I've been kind of waiting on when to share this and when to talk about this because it has really impacted me. Within these last couple months, I have started The Chosen with my family, and I never watched it. I never really watched it. My parents have been trying to get me to watch it forever. I don't know why. I just have a really hard time. I like to repeat a lot of shows. I have a really hard time starting new ones because it means like learning all the characters again and all that stuff and like the plot and everything and seeing if I'm even interested, right? But The Chosen is basically the story of Jesus on earth. I'm on season 3 now. So it's like him and how he's acquired his disciples and things biblically that he's done. And so I had never seen it before. I'd never seen it, but I had started watching it. And there's one story and one person that has really impacted me that I hadn't yet read about. It's the story of Mary Magdalene. And I've heard her name. Like I've listened to kind of like who she was and like, how Jesus impacted her, but watching it's completely different than just reading it. I feel like I'm someone who I engage more when I watch something than when I read something. Unfortunately, that's why it's harder for me to read the Bible, but I have gotten better about it. But watching the story has impacted me so much more. If you don't know the story of Mary Magdalene, before she had met Jesus, at the time, she unfortunately was a prostitute, and within that time had, I think, about like 7 demons possessing her. So she was going through the ringer. And when she had been at her lowest, when one of the highest Pharisees at the time, Nicodemus, tried to remove the demons that were possessing her, he basically ran away claiming that she was unsavable. And Jesus came, called her by her real name, and she was immediately free. She was immediately free. And throughout it, that's amazing, but that's not the part that has truly hit me. Throughout her time with Jesus, throughout her time truly, truly, truly committing her life to Christ, there have been moments where she has just felt like she's not enough, where she's just not meant to be a follower that closely with Christ, that it was a mistake. And she started to kind of go back in time and make similar mistakes and kind of fall back to her old patterns. And one thing about that is I feel like that is so human, that I feel like that just shows a lot of the people who he saw things in, he saw importance in, but also just shows the reality that like not everyone is perfect. And that like we all fall short a lot of the times. And even when we have a calling, it's really easy to take steps back and to still make mistakes. And one of her fears when she started to fall back was facing Christ, was facing Jesus, because she had fallen back and possibly disappointing him. And when she was found by the other followers of Christ at the time, they found her, brought her back, and she was so afraid of facing Jesus. She was so afraid of what he would think of her and if he would still deem her worthy. But Jesus welcomed her back. He hugged her and he forgave her. I think why this is so important and why I think that this relates to accountability for me is that truthfully, we're always afraid of what could happen when we face the music. But I want to remind you of where it truly matters. Who it truly matters from. Christ. I care so much sometimes about the people and the things that are surrounding me here on earth and how I'm making them feel. And I think that's important. But there's a lot of things that I do to myself and that I allow myself to think and that I allow myself to fall into and ponder on. We deem ourselves unworthy a lot of the times because we're so afraid. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen The Chosen, watch it. If you haven't seen The Chosen, I'm telling you, watch it. I had a very, very strong spiritual awakening when I'd watched that first episode, because I just related so much to it. Maybe not in the same extremes, but in the ways that like I've been needing God to speak to me, it spoke to me. This has been such an important lesson in my life so far, and I'm still finding ways to apply it because there's always ways that I'm fearful of it. There's always ways that I deem myself not worthy. There's always ways that I think about the what if instead of having faith in the even if. But I think there's power in practicing it. There's power in holding ourselves to be the person who tells us to be accountable versus having someone else hold us accountable. And I think that there is something so amazing about trusting God and allowing ourselves to rely on God for it sometimes, for the strength and the reminder of all the ways that he's given us grace and the reminder that he still continues to give us grace if we give it to him. I think this episode is super powerful. I think it is. And what an amazing way to celebrate episode 25. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for spending the time to truly, truly, truly listen and embrace this episode because I think this is such an important topic and conversation. If you liked this, please let me know. Rate this podcast, rate this episode, send it to a friend. Let me know what you think about it. If you like this podcast, if you like this episode, message me. I love hearing from you guys. Comment, subscribe, like, follow, all of the things. Keep your eyes set out on November 3rd because I have some really fun fun upgrades and news coming, and I'm really excited to share it. I'm like so ecstatic to share it. I can't wait to share it. But you guys, I am going to close this episode out. I love you. I think I said everything I want to say, and I'm so glad that my mind stayed intact with my mouth because what did I say? Third time's a charm. I was like literally screaming at myself through the camera, like, why can't I get a sentence out that makes sense? It was frustrating. It was frustrating, but sometimes stuff like that happens. Sometimes you just need to figure out your rhythm and your pace and just start it and get it going and let God guide you. Okay, let God guide you. Thank you, God. But you guys, I love you. I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you have an amazing week whenever you are listening to this. I hope that you just feel something from this episode. And I thank you. I thank you guys. I love you guys. I love you so, 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 so very much. I will talk to you so very soon. Bye.